Welcome everybody from sunny Florida. Kate B here on my channel. We're going to the lake to watch the sunset. And you know why photographers call it the golden hour? Because the sunlighting is so good and gentle at the last hour before the sunset that everybody look good on the pictures. So this is Happy Birthday Sydney. That's a cool setup that this family set up for their loved one, Sydney. What a great idea. Welcome to my live stream. Kate B here from sunny Florida. Welcome, welcome. I hope you can hear me well. This is me. I'm going for a walk. I'm trying to exercise twice a week. Going to my Zumba class, and on top of that I started to walk, making my 10,000 steps. So I'm taking you to the lake, and I love going to the lake and watch the sunset because it's the beautiful golden hour and the sun is not too hot, and when the sun is setting it's gorgeous over the lake. So today I have an interesting topic for you, and I wanted more viewers to put their input, so don't be shy. You can introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, and tell me what your thoughts are on the topic, or maybe share your experience. Let me see. Okay. I hope I can read your messages. I hope it's good connection. How can you hear me? I have 17 viewers. Welcome to my live stream. Kate B here, sunny Florida, east of Orlando. Welcome. So the topic will be about why we get spoiled with a privileged life in the United States, why we start taking things for granted, why we are not grateful, and why we forget where we're coming from. Elizabeth, welcome. What are you doing? Are you doing your morning joke? No, I'm not doing my morning joke. It's almost 7 p.m. in Florida, United States. It's not a joke. Did you mean jog? What are you doing? I'm walking. I'm going to the lake to watch the sunset, and I'm taking you on a stroll. I'm walking. I can't run. I can't jog. I'm an old lady. I'm 47. It's Kate B. I live in sunny Florida. Originally, I'm from Eastern Europe. That's why I can discuss a lot of topics. How Americans get spoiled and privileged, and how they stop being grateful, and how to be grateful every day. Maria Henrika, sorry. That's okay. Hi, Creative Life. Welcome to my live stream. 57 viewers. Wow, I'm so excited. I'm gonna show you. This is beautiful Florida, United States. Tell me where you're from. We're in Orlando area, and we have beautiful weather. It's not too humid yet. Like, who cares about the weather? It's Florida, whatever. So today I have a good discussion. Very good discussion. I must say your glasses are stunning. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. How about my eyes? See, I love compliments. Thank you. Whatever you want to say, it's up to you. Just make sure it comes from your heart. Good morning. Okay, you have good morning. I guess you have morning. We have evening. Good evening. Anyways, today is an interesting topic, and it kind of bothered me for the couple of days, just because sometimes when I feel lazy, I don't have motivation to do something, I start thinking that is it age that my energy levels go down, or is it just the comfortable life and everyday life comforts we have here in the United States that we start experiencing some sort of demotivation, low energy. And then I started to think further, and I think, maybe it's not only the age thing. Maybe it's the times we live in. Maybe it's times of technology. Maybe because we have too much, we get demotivated and lazy and spoiled and like pretty much spoiled brats. Then I started to think further. We have more ambitions that our parents did, you know. We probably have more ambitions, but we're not sure if our kids have more ambitions than we do. So that's technology and progress and all the privileges we have of comfortable living here in the United States. Do they do good to our kids, or do they do some corruption and damage to them too? So how to balance things out, like, and I have both worlds. Why can I discuss this topic? Because I'm coming from a very poor area in Eastern Europe. Lucky, she's lucky age went outside. Hey, can I tell you something, please? Elizabeth, yes, you can tell me. 77 viewers, welcome. It's Kate B. I live in Florida, United States. I'm an immigrant. I've been living in Florida for about 17 years now. I came from Eastern Europe, Republic of Moldova. If it's the first time to your channel, to my channel, welcome. Please say hi, don't be shy, express your opinion. Share your thoughts, share your experiences. Everybody's welcome. 75 viewers, yeah, and don't forget your likes, like and subscribe. And it would be nice if you tell me where you're from. Hi! Look at this landscaping. These people take such a good care of their lawns. Oh my gosh, beautiful lawns. Look at this landscaping. Look at this beautiful trees, cotton. Hi, welcome. Please shout, Kelly Rooster. Shout to Kelly Rooster. If I say your name right, Rooster. Okay, so you're gorgeous. Thank you guys, thank you. I have lots of compliments today. It's probably my makeup, and I have a trick. This is the lighting, you know. It's all about the lighting. When you have your YouTube channel, make sure you get great lighting, and we call it, like photographers and I call it, golden hour, an hour before the sunset, because the sun is very gentle, it's not too bright, and you're gonna look gorgeous on the video, you're gonna look gorgeous on the photos. That's why photographers like to take pictures of portraits and pictures of families and people at the golden hour. So I'm taking you right at the golden hour. I'm taking you to see the sunset over the lake in our little town I live in. Thank you so much. Of course, Kelly. Adeline Ray Allison, welcome. Shout me, please. Okay. Ashlyn, if I'm saying that name right. Hey, Ashlyn Ray Allison. Shout out to Ashlyn Ray Allison. Yay! Okay, tell me where you're from. Would be nice to know where you guys from, because, you know, I'm sharing my beautiful Florida with you. And just, it would be nice to know which state or which country you're from. Thank you. I love you. I love you too. Thank you. So, again, the discussion is going to be interesting because from my own experience, from my own growing up, I come from a very small country. It used to be a part of a big country, which was Soviet Union, which was communist country. And if you're from Cuba, maybe you can relate what is the regime was. If you're from China, you can probably relate what is the communist regime is about. But life was pretty tough when I was growing up. I came as an adult to live in the United States, and I started my family here. and my two beautiful daughters who are 14 and 10, they're real Americans now. They're first generation born Americans in our family. So I'm very proud to be a citizen of this beautiful country, United States of America. And I'm very proud to have both worlds in my mentality, because I can see goods and bads. I don't only see goods in everything. I'm very grateful to be a citizen and to grow my kids in the most prosperous country in the world. That's how I feel. And that's okay if you don't share this feeling, if you feel something else. I hope everybody can love their country as much as I can love United States. So I've been thinking what my live stream should be about. And for a couple of days I experienced some blues, and nothing is wrong, nothing is happening. And I was thinking that would it be something like because I'm getting old, because I have hormones, because something, you know, like just in my head, something bothering me. And then I thought, yeah, this blues is just because I'm not keeping myself busy, I'm not keeping myself as active, and I'm not being as energetic as I used to be before. And that bothers me because in my mind I'm turning into a lazy butt, you know. I don't have motivation to do something. Everything is pretty much, you know, set. And but I started to go for walks, and I started to do my Zumba class, and it gives me a boost of energy sometimes. But my mood, you know, it's something wrong with my mood. So I started to think about that topic. Listen, when you get comfortable, when you find a place, when you find your comfort zone, when everything is covered, like your food, you have a good job, you have a good house, you have a good routine every day, you have a comfortable car that doesn't break, you have nice co-workers, you live in your little bubble, and you think that everything is so good that, you know, like you kind of don't know how it is for other people. And every little thing starts bothering you, you know. You start to think, oh, you're lazy, or you start to think you're like not doing enough, you're not paying attention enough, you're not like physically doing enough. And for me, I'm a person like that. I'm a very anxious person. I always worry about missed opportunities. So, and this blues, it doesn't have anything to do, it doesn't have any good valid reason. Hi Kate, Elizabeth Maria needs your permission to say you something. Hi Kate, Elizabeth Maria. Oh, okay, Elizabeth Maria, please go ahead. I'm from South Africa, and please, can I tell you something else? Yes, Elizabeth, go ahead, tell me something else. Welcome from South Africa. So that's why you say good morning. It's probably early morning in South Africa. What would you like to say? Please do. Fire away. I'll read your comment. Hello, how are you? Russian accent and broken English. Hi, Lenочка. Hi, I know who you are. Welcome, Lenочка. Russian accent and broken English is my good viewer, almost like a virtual friend from California. And thank you for being with me this evening. Russian accent and broken. Okay, thank you for vouching for Elizabeth from South Africa. Yeah, I hope she can tell me something. So let's continue. So I'm thinking, I have no reason to have this blues. And I'm like, whatever, it's hormones. It's like I'm not busy enough. I'm not challenged enough. And then I thought to myself, it's going to be a great topic to discuss with my viewers. So, you know how the battery in your car, while the car is running, your battery get charged. When the car is staying in the garage, your like for 2, 3, 5, 10 days or a week, sometimes the battery can go dead. Why? Because it didn't get charged while the car was running. So I'm like that. I get my batteries charged from both, from running and relaxing, but mostly from running. 90% of time I get my batteries and my energy level charged from physically doing something, like going somewhere, being somewhere, doing exercise, going for a walk, cleaning my kitchen, cooking food for my husband and my kids and my dad, you know, doing my YouTube channel, editing my videos, making shorts. So through being busy, through running on my wheels like a car, I get my accumulators, I get my battery charged, right? Sometimes I can collapse, right? So that's how I feel when I go on a cruise. Like for 4 days, I go on a cruise, I relax, I do nothing, I like it. But after 4 days, I started to get a little anxious, and I started to feel that I'm spoiled and corrupted, I'm getting lazy, and when I get back, I don't have motivation to do anything because I experience like a lack of energy. And that's okay too. That's why it's good to have balanced lifestyle. It's good to have enough busy time, and it's good to have enough rest time, that you don't feel completely relaxed and lazy, that you don't get motivated to move forward. So thank you so much, Elizabeth Maria Fury, how you say your name. Sorry if I misspelled your last name. So, and I understand that people are all different. We have all different capacities, like a battery. We have little tiny battery, 5V, or we have a huge big battery that can do like the power plants. It's a big battery too. So we're all different. So people have different capacities and levels of their energy. People have different skills. People have different bodies. People have different health. And I understand. Elizabeth Maria, you're very welcome. Happy birthday, dear. Whose birthday is that? Creative Life. Elizabeth, happy birthday, dear. Oh, thank you so much. So yesterday was my birthday. Elizabeth Maria, happy birthday. Please tell us how old did you turn? Okay, happy birthday. Hope you had a good day. So I know we're all different, but I think I saw my mom being just like that, like I am now. And I remember she was so energetic that, she made us run around the house like crazy. We were not allowed to have too much free time. We were not allowed to fool around. We were not allowed to have too much spare time. She always wanted us to keep busy, to do something meaningful, to do something around household, to help, to have chores, to have schoolwork, to have homework. And, like we grew up and we didn't know any different. We didn't know any different. That's how people lived back then. That's how kids worked too. Like kids were able at 7 cook their own meals. Kids were able to take care of themselves. Nowadays, it's different. Now we have technology, we have gadgets, we have whatever, washing machines, we have dishwashers, we have a lady that comes and helps you clean your house, So at some point it's good because as we progressed, as we worked hard to make a little more money for our family, as we got education, as we got careers, as we got our kids, growing, we got a little more settled financially. We can afford a little bit more help and a little bit more gadgets and a little bit more technology in our house to help us with the stuff people used to do by hands, right? And nothing wrong with that. You say it's great, you worked hard to get to this point, but I feel like I have some regrets. I feel like I'm becoming less motivated. Do you have this feeling sometimes, like nothing interests you anymore? You don't have motivation to do something. You don't have motivation to get out of your comfort zone. Do you have this feeling sometimes? Yes, I do. And what I say to myself, I'm not an old woman yet. It's not time to be retired and just, lay down with the book and listen to the birds singing. Just go for a walk. Keep recharging your batteries. Keep teaching your kids to move around, not to sit on their butts, and be a good role model for your kids, just like my mom was. So, are you with me? I turned 40. Elizabeth, congratulations. 40 is such a great age. Hello, reply me. Creative Life. Welcome. You got popcorn? Where are you from, Creative Life? Welcome to my live stream. I have 5 viewers. So, let me tell you, the privileged life doesn't come easy. The privileged life came with a lot of effort. And I want to teach my kids on my own example that if you don't work hard every day, nothing's gonna be easy in your life. I am 47, and it started to get easy maybe last 4 years. And I tell you why, because our careers are settled, our jobs are secured, our house is, pretty much paid off, and we have a little more, hope that we're gonna stay healthy with the great medical care we receive in the United States, and we get a little bit more hope that we keep ourselves healthy to get to the retirement age and to travel the world and to do something that we cannot do right now when we are busy with the schedules, busy with the school, busy with work and careers and stuff like that. Or like busy building a good amount of retirement money to afford things we cannot afford now, or we couldn't afford 15 years ago. So if it's evening by you, by us, it's now night. But it doesn't say everywhere in South Africa it's night. But yeah, where we are, it's night. So we almost going to sleep. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure how many hours we are apart. It's around 7 p.m. here in Florida, and probably evening of the next day if you're going to sleep. Elizabeth, happy birthday. Lena and Boris, New Jersey. Hello, Lenочка. Lenочка from New Jersey. She is my virtual friend, and she's a good viewer who's supporting my channel all the time. So don't feel shy to chime in about this topic. Do you feel like every generation has it a little easier in terms of housework, in terms of everyday life, in terms of chores, cooking, household duties and stuff like that? Every generation has it a little more easier than the previous generation, right? But because I come from a world like a third world country, when I grew up, I can know the difference. My kids wouldn't know the difference. They would have no clue what I'm talking about, because they always seen this life. They always seen technology. They always seen health. They always seen privileged, comfortable life. They always had water, hot water, running hot water. They always had good food. They never struggled. They always had good clothes. And how we need to explain to them that these things are not a must. These things are not like given, that we worked hard to provide these things for them. Lena and Boris. Hi, Lena. Lena from California and Lena from New Jersey. So I I catch myself like being annoyed with something, and my annoyances would not compare with the troubles, problems, misery that people face some other place in the world. And I'm here with you today to confess that at some point I catch myself being this privileged middle-aged woman who doesn't appreciate what she really has just because she, she's wrapped up in her own, in her own little thoughts and in her own little discomforts that she has no right to talk about when she knows that the rest of the world doesn't live like that. So I have to confess, yes, I'm that spoiled American brat, white privileged woman. But yet, I come to the conclusion, I realize I can be a privileged middle-aged woman in the United States, but it came with an effort. It doesn't come like just because I won the lottery. It doesn't come just because my dad was wealthy and sent me to a prestigious college in the United States to get my education. I didn't get it just because my family passed me a good chunk of money. I'm privileged because I worked very hard my whole life to be where I am. And I want my kids to know, I want my kids to see me moving, doing something meaningful every day, because I don't want them to think that artificial intelligence will come and they don't need to work anymore. I don't want them to rely on technology all the time. I don't want them to think that money is growing on the tree and just because your parents are wealthy or like your parents are comfortable, you're going to be comfortable. No, I want my kids to know that you get up every morning, you get your butt into a certain routine, whatever your routine is in the morning. You pack your lunch, you go to school, and you do your part, You do your part. Because if my mom wasn't teaching me these things by being a good role model, if I would come from a struggling environment, yes, we struggled a lot. We struggled in a different way. Yes, we lived in peace. We didn't have war, thanks God. But we didn't necessarily have good clothing. We didn't necessarily have good food. Things were deficit. We were zombied by this communist agenda. People had to be gray mass. They didn't have freedoms to speak. They didn't have freedoms to practice religion. People didn't have freedoms to express themselves in a different way, in a very individual way. Look at this beautiful bird. Oh my gosh, the lake is so gorgeous at sunset. Look at this beautiful, gorgeous bird. Kate, I know you demand a lot from yourself. You deserve vacation time to time. Lenочка, thank you. Yes, when I take vacation, I get I get too relaxed. And then it's hard to get back to, get back to work again. Leah from California, Lena from California, hello. Okay, so you know Lena from California too, right? She's Moscow, but for some reason her nick shows as broken English Russian accent. So, I don't say I'm too hard on myself. I always try to find the good balance, Yes, I tell you I'm very comfortable and this and that, but I don't have a freedom to retire at 50. I'm 47. Some people say, forget it, we're going to retire at 50 and go travel in Europe. I haven't been to Europe, because I have so many responsibilities. It's not only about retirement money. It's about, like I say, showing your kids while they're still young, while they're still that age when they absorb from the role model of their families, how to proper build your family, how to proper raise your kids, how to manage your household, how to manage your finances. And Of course, I can be, you know, it's a luxury to stay home these days as a mom and not work. I think it's a luxury because, you know, two incomes, when people make two incomes, it's so easier to survive. Things are going up in prices all the time. And it's always good when you have two incomes in the family because you can always afford a little more. You can afford a little better medical care. You can afford a little better vacation. You can afford a little more comforts that you got at a certain level of income, and you always want more and more. So here comes the question. My dad is 83. He grew up right after the war, Second World War. My dad was born in 1942. Why he's not into materialistic things? Why he still thinks that 2 pairs of pants is perfectly fine, that nothing gonna be wrong if you only have 2 pairs of pants, not 20 pairs of pants? Why he's a person who lived such a long life until 83 and he doesn't want or he doesn't need too much? Why he still has this very basic mentality and he is happy with what he has? Why me at 47 always wanting more and more, you know? Why I'm so ambitious, why I'm so spoiled to have more and more, you know? Why cannot be settled and grateful every day for every little thing I have, for this beautiful weather in Florida, for this beautiful park? We pay taxes, you know, like we live in a nice community, we pay taxes. So they build this beautiful, gorgeous park for us with the city money we pay to the city. Like our taxes, our local, like property taxes, they go and they remain in the city. And that's why they build good roads for us, they build good parks, they preserve the nature for us. Why I'm not grateful? Why I'm always finding the little things to be bothered with or to be annoyed? Why I'm a person who always strive for more and can just stop and relax and just tell myself, hey, be grateful. So when I talk to my daughter, she's very religious, she studies Bible, and she always tells me the Bible teaches you to be grateful every day, to say a little prayer for what you have, for your health. And the Bible tells you that God loves you and everything in God's hand. So my kid knows that, but I tell her that I believe in everybody's effort in this life. So I don't believe things come to us from heaven, you know. I believe that things come because we work so hard. Like we were so fortunate. Why we were so fortunate when we lived in the countries that were so poor, you know. Why we were so fortunate to move and took the courage for the immigration journey. Why we were so strong not to be afraid of challenges. I kind of think that our kids are not strong enough to go through the challenges we went. Do you think it's because we give them too much, or do you think it's just because this generation relies on something else rather than their own skills, their own efforts, their own hard work? So, and I find myself very judgmental because I don't like when people don't work too hard and they just ask for help all the time. I get really annoyed and I despise the people who like to live off the benefits, who like to live off the government, who like to milk the system to get food on the table or to get their roof over their heads paid. I get annoyed with that because nobody never gave me anything when I came here as an immigrant. I put myself, I got myself into debt, and I was responsible to work hard to pay this debt off for my school. I was responsible enough to get a good, you know, profession that get me a decent job, that, you know, I have a decent stable income. I was responsible enough to put my kids in the daycare and go back to work right after my kids were like 3 months old. And you know, I don't like when the people come here to this country and they expect other people and the government to take care of them. I don't like that. I hate that, you know. And that's why I think that if you go anywhere, you need to know that the privileged life is not because, you know, this is the country that provides for people. It's just because you have enough education, you have enough will, you put enough effort to build your life anywhere you are. And I know you're gonna tell me that people stuck in their circumstances, you know, people stuck in their family situations, people get stuck. But, you know, I don't believe that the bad circumstances can drag you down. I believe that the bad circumstances, the misery, the poverty can stimulate you, can motivate you to do something, to get out of this misery and achieve something better, to grow as a person, to help your family to have better future and stuff like that. So I understand when people are sick, when people are mentally sick. I understand that part. But we see more and more the abuse of the system, you know, the abuse of the benefits that, you know, government pays to people. We see that people are not responsible. They have kids that they can't afford to raise, you know, so they put so much pressure on the government to pay all the social benefits. I don't want to raise somebody's kids, you know. Why should I pay for my kids? Why should I pay for their education? Why should I work hard? Why should I go back to work at 3 months and leave them in the daycare and you know, pay my taxes, and somebody else would come and just milk the system? So that's what I wanted to tell you today. You know, I know that it should be like, this is a free country. People come here for the better life. But the people who come here should not rely on the government paycheck, you know. People should rely on their own hard work. People should rely on the opportunities this country gives you. Go to school, take a loan, you know, but do something. Work hard to get a good profession. Work hard to get a career. Work hard every day at your job to grow in your career, you know. That's what we did. That's what my husband and I did. We sacrificed a lot, you know. I haven't seen my husband. When my kids were born, he had to work so much. He couldn't afford to take you know, paternity leave. He couldn't afford to take vacations to be at home with me, you know. I felt like a single mom sometimes because he had to travel for his job. But you know, I know why now, because he made a beautiful career, because he can provide for our family now. He can pay for my daughter's sports, he can pay for my daughter's school, he can pay for my beautiful vacations, and you know, but this doesn't come because, you know, he just came here in this country. It happened because he had a lot of sacrifices while building his career, you know. Elizabeth, night night. This is how late it is. 1 a.m. Okay, good night. It's actually morning, but we're going to sleep in a late night. Kate, I know your demand from yourself. Thank you, Leonchka. Kate, you feel you need to be very strict with your kids, the same as your mother. Yes, I'm not that strict though. I'm not that strict, you know. My daughter is 10. If I wouldn't serve her food, she wouldn't be able to make herself a sandwich, you know. That's how spoiled my kids are. Remember at 10? I think at 10 I could easily boil a soup for myself. Like, I could know how to peel the vegetables and fry some potatoes for myself, you know. My kids are helpless because we make them focus on work, like we make them focus on school, and we make focus on sports, because you know, sports teaches them discipline. Sports is good for their athletic, you know, bodies in future, and hopefully healthy bodies without injuries. And sports teaches them to work hard to achieve something, to achieve progress and results. So that's the priorities for us. It's not a priority for my 10-year-old to make herself a sandwich. Well, she started to do her own lunch boxes, so I'm very proud of her, because probably this year, I would say in 5th grade, she started to do her lunch boxes all by herself. Grandpa helps a little bit, but she mostly prepares her lunch boxes. So I'm not too hard on them. They help me with the laundry, but they cannot start the washing machine. Like my old one, she's 14. She can start the washing machine and everything. But my 10-year-old, she wouldn't do her own laundry, you know? So we are not forcing them to do a lot of chores. And like, they clean their rooms. They perfectly, you know, they can perfectly organize their rooms. There is not much mess in their rooms. I should confess that at least they know enough that, you know, their rooms should be clean and neat, and their clothes need to be, you know, put away, and they know that they have to wear clean and fresh clothes every day, and they take good hygiene every day. And they're in sports, and sports teaches you too about hygiene, about you know, everyday routines. My mom was very strict, but you know, if she wouldn't be very strict, the times back then called for her to be strict, because you know, nothing was given. We didn't have slaves. We didn't have, you know, help back then. We didn't have a household help back then. My mom would teach me just because that generation believed that the woman should do all these things, and the woman can have a good husband only if she knows how to take care of the household. Now I don't teach my girls that. I don't tell them that to land a good man you need to have the skills. I would like them to have certain household skills, but I wouldn't tell them that their marriage depends on it. You know, their marriage depends on more good relationship and respect of each other, and more playing as a team, more like doing things together. Like whatever it is, raising kids, doing the laundry, cleaning the kitchen, anybody can do that, you know, and it's not necessarily the woman who would do that. I teach them to get good education, to get good secure job that's gonna bring them to a certain level of comfort, that they don't need to be dependent on man. Yes, back in the day they teach us to be dependent on man, but coming here and achieving like something, getting your own education, getting your own profession, seeing how this society, you know, seeing feminism in this society, seeing the equality of women, we come to conclusion that our parents were not always right. Mashallah, yalla yalla, zag zag, mashallah. Thank you. God bless you too. Sorry is Espanol. Okay. Zag zag, welcome. So again, if you're first time on my channel, I'm Kate B. I live in sunny Florida. Okay, I should be on the other side to show you the sunset, because I'm like blah 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 a lot and I didn't show you the sunset. But this is our beautiful lake. I live northeast of Orlando. Orlando is a big city in central Florida, and we live south-north of Orlando, and this is our beautiful park. It's called Solaley Park. Oh, oops, I just told you where I live. Okay, I should be very careful. We still have to have some privacy on YouTube. Okay, tell me where you from, Yalla Yalla. That would be nice to know where you from. Yalla Yalla Zag Zag and Gilda Pacheco, welcome. Buenvenido, Gilda Pacheco, buenvenido. Yalla Yalla, mashallah. Yeah, thank you so much. Mashallah, mashallah. Germany. Okay, Germany. My sister lives in Berlin. Mashallah. So, you know, I don't expect a lot from my girls, because you know, life is easy. As I say, for us, my mom didn't have enough time to do all the household chores because we didn't have good appliances, we didn't have technology, we didn't have dishwasher, we didn't have hot water, for God's sake. People still live without running hot water, you know. We forget how tough things are. People still get water from the well, for God's sake, you know. People still don't have good drinking water, and here we are, you know, getting mad about like the wrong color of the shirt they send you in the mail, you know. So we should stop. What I'm trying to say, we should stop and be grateful and be a good role model to our kids and explain to them that this privileged life they see, it doesn't grow on a tree. You have to work hard every day and do your own part to get all the, you know, privileges we have here in this country. You know, don't expect the government paying you. Don't expect anybody to give you stuff for free. Don't expect, you know, things come cheap or things come free. Nothing is free. The freedom in this country comes with the responsibility. The freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom of expression, the freedom of bearing arms and stuff like that. It comes with a price. It comes with a price. You work hard, you get education, you get career, you sacrifice time with your family, you sacrifice sometimes your health. You pay freaking taxes, so other people can just milk the system? I don't agree with that. We came to this country, we ran away from the poverty. We ran away from the, you know, from that regime that shuts you up and make you a gray mass and zombie you into believing this communist ideas. We ran away from that. We came to this country with the realization that nobody gave us anything. Our parents didn't give us money. Our parents didn't invest in our education. Our parents just gave us the skills to survive. Our parents gave us the most important features of the character to survive, to learn, to be capable of trying, failing, getting up and doing, and just, you know, achieving something. That's what our parents gave us, really. They didn't give us money. They didn't give us that opportunity to go. We decided to immigrate, you know. We decided to try a different lifestyle, a different country. We came here and we worked really, really hard. We worked like 3 or 10 times more than average American-born citizen worked here. So what I'm trying to tell you, yeah, here is the sun, so pretty. Let me show you. Okay, the sun will be setting on that side. Okay, the sun is moving. Did not come to this country from poverty. How come you did? Well, Lianchka, again, everybody had different circumstances. Moldova is a small country in Eastern Europe between Ukraine and Romania. After the Soviet Union was broke, Moldova had any natural resources to trade. Moldova was dependent on Russia for gas, for anything, for any natural resources. And Moldova was torn between Russia and you know, West. Okay, 7:30. Call Stella. Say happy birthday. Okay, thank you. So I have an alarm to call my friend in California. We're like 3 hours apart because it's my friend's birthday in California. Her name is Stella, so I wanted to tell her happy birthday. So I'll call her. I'll put an alarm and I'll call her maybe after my live stream. So I came from, you should understand, my mom retired when she was 52. My dad retired when he was 55 just because he worked on the atomic, you know, power plants. He was building, and that job was considered like bad to your health, and he has an opportunity to retire early, and like the government will pay him the retirement money but it wasn't not enough to survive. So my dad had to go from Moldova, traveled from Moldova to Russia to Moscow to get some jobs. And my mom, she was retired at 50. She helped a little bit with my nephew, so her grandson was born. So she was helping my sister with her son for the first like 3 or 4 years of retirement. And then my mom had to travel to Romania to stay on the flea markets to sell goods, to bring the dollars from Romania to Moldova. So with the dollars, with the foreign currency, you could buy better, you could buy better living, better food, better clothes for myself. And my mom, she was traveling with the big bags of, goods to trade and to sell on the flea markets. And she was traveling 10 hours on the freaking bus. Челночница, понимаешь? Like, those people had to sell stuff on the market to make money because their retirement plan money couldn't provide for the living, couldn't provide for their kids. So I looked at that, and I worked at 16, I worked in high school. I worked teaching kids English in the kindergartens, I would teach 5-year-olds English, and they would pay me, each family would pay me $3 a month, and if I had 10 family, I made $30 a month. Yeah. Life was really miserable in the 90s in Moldova. So after I graduated, I didn't have a decent job. I used to work as a nanny in foreign families until I came here to be a nanny in an American family. So life was rough, You probably had a great profession. You probably were already a career person by mid-90s or 2000. I just graduated in 1999. I just graduated college, and things were so bad in Moldova. There were no decent jobs. I knew English, so I kind of knew that I have opportunities to go somewhere and experience the world and check out where the grass is greener, and see if I have courage to immigrate one day. So yeah, I ran away from huge, big poverty. I didn't come here as a mail order bride. I didn't come here, I guess you can say I came here and I had boyfriend. What if person need temporary help? Unemployment benefits, for example. Okay, let's talk about that. That's a great question. Elena and Boris. Like, temporary. I agree. Like, the key word is temporary. But let me tell you, the help corrupts people. The help corrupts people. The help always, like, if people get help, it demotivates them. It demotivates them to get up and do something and turn their life around, It's easier to be a victim. It's easier to ask for help all the time. It's easier to find the solution in getting free money. It's way easier than turning your life around and put an effort to do something. So I worked in the court from my 17, educated while working 8 hours every day. Yes, and I agree. I know, Lena, you're a little older than me, so you still got your great education. Your parents still told you to go to university and get your degree, like your lawyer's degree, right? So after you got your education, you got a job. So you worked hard, right? You work hard. And I asked you the question, when you were divorced, you were not scared to provide for your kid. You had enough income to provide to your kid. Like my sister, she had a kid without being married, and she worked for American Embassy back in Moldova. She could provide for her kid. She knew English. She had a great education. She was a single mom, but she could provide for her kid, and we were very proud of her. She rented an apartment. She worked. We helped with the kid. She made good money, she provided for herself, and then at the end she won the green card and she immigrated to the United States with her kid. And her kid is in the Air Force now. We are so proud of him. My nephew is serving in Air Force. He's been in Air Force almost 15 years. He has a family of his own, and we're very proud of the man he grew, you know. So everybody's story is different, but in my family, everybody worked hard. My other sister, my older sister, she immigrated to Germany. She immigrated to Germany. She wasn't a mail order bride. She worked illegally in Germany. She was deported back to Ukraine, where she was from, because she was married in Ukraine. So she moved from Moldova. She lived in Ukraine. She went to Germany for the better life. Guess what? Now she's 62. She still works physically, works hard every day, just to make sure she earns her pension. Everyone in my family works hard. My sister who came here, she became a nurse in her early 40s. When her son left for the army, she went back to school. She was the best in her class. She got bachelor's in nursing in 1 year, and she paid $70,000 in debt for her education to become a nurse, you know? Isn't it an example of the real people who worked hard to achieve something, who didn't just ask for money and help all the time? Did she want to work hard at 40 plus after raising her kid and being a single mom all these years? No, but she went to school. She became something. She became a nurse. She got a profession at 42, and we're very proud of her. Like every time I want her to look at my dad's and my dad's lab work, she would tell me. She would tell me what's going on better than the doctor, you know. She would tell me in every little detail because she studied and she worked hard to get her degree, and she has the knowledge. We're very proud. I'm very proud of both of my sisters. Yes, it's hard. Yes, my sister sees the same thing in Germany. She says a lot of immigrants who has tons of kids and sit on the streets and don't want to do nothing and just get paycheck from German government. You know who pay their paychecks? The people who pay taxes, who have to work. So I agree with the temporary help. I agree when people came here from war and they really escaped. And I agree that they stayed here for a year or two. But again, unemployment benefits comes not from government. It is not really help. People has to work for unemployment benefits first. Yes, you're right. If you paid FICA taxes, I agree, and it depends on the state where you lived in and stuff like that, and it depends how much money you paid during your career to FICA and how much your unemployment will be. But to tell you the truth, even people get unemployment, it's not going to be a very comfortable lifestyle. It's going to be very bare minimum, you know, like some people are okay with bare minimum and don't want to put a lot of efforts. О, смотрите, какая птица красивая. But some people still want the lifestyle, but they don't want to put an effort. So my point is that your lifestyle should match your efforts, you know. Like, if you're not capable to work for any reason, don't expect the government to cover your extras, you know. Like, don't expect the government, like, if you want to survive and have food and a roof over your shoulder, don't stay in line don't stay in line to the Louis Vuitton store or Apple store during the work hour in the Millennium Mall, you know, in Orlando, having 5 kids around you and spending the freaking tax return money, you know, the taxes you never paid. Don't do that, you know. Don't do that, because I'm gonna despise these people with all my heart, you know. I'm gonna judge these people with all my heart, you know. I don't want to say H word, but you know, I'm pretty expressive about my attitude. I was raised by my mom only, and I have not been told to get education. It was my own choice. Then, Lena, kudos to you. You were smart enough to have this choice and know what you're doing. My mom was very authoritative, and she didn't allow me to have a lot of choices, you know. She would tell me that I need to go and get college education. That's the must. And I was very scared of her. I didn't argue, you know. Everybody, you know, my dad had education. I think my mom wanted me to have good education because she didn't get one. I think what happened to my mom, she was going to technical college at 18, right after graduating high school. And then she met this guy and she got pregnant early. And my mom had my first sister when she was 19. That's why, like, later in life when she had me, I was her third child. And she had me when she was 35, going 36. So she was more mature, and she knew that, you know, she didn't want me to get married early and get pregnant and, you know, not go to school. So I think my mom, through her own struggles, she wanted to protect me from the struggles in future. And I'm forever grateful, because if she wouldn't, you know, give me these values of education, if she wouldn't instill in me the thought that, you know, I have to have education in order to have a good job, in order to succeed in life, you know, what would she give me, you know? I think she was right. At some point she wanted, you know, like, my dad would tease her. He would tell her, oh, you just got pregnant and you're perfectly fine now, like nothing bad happened to you, you made it in life. But my mom didn't want it for us. She worked hard for the rest of her life, not the best jobs, I guess. And at the end of her life, she worked hard to she worked really hard, and she sacrificed her health pretty much, providing for her family after retirement. So I don't want that. So my mom, even she was you know, strict, and even she was authoritative, I know exactly what she did, you know. She made sure that I make right choices, you know. And that's, I think it's pretty much every parent's job, to teach you how to survive, how to be an independent adult. I know we want to be there for our kids if trouble happen, and of course we're gonna support them if something happened to them. And, you know, life is unpredictable, and they're gonna have fails, and they're gonna have broken hearts. But we want to teach them that it's not the end of the world, as long as they're healthy, and as long as they have education, as long as they, you know, have energy and put enough effort to get up and move on. That's what we want to teach them. Смотрите, какой красивый закат. Кто там прыгнул? Птица какая красивая полетела. Ой, какая красивая птица, девочки. Смотрите, какой закат красивый. Thank you for being with me. I don't know, I needed to get off my chest. I needed to tell you. Смотрите, какой красивый закат. Вот мы здесь с вами посидим, посмотрим, как солнце садится. Птичка летит такая. Can you hear me well? Can you see me well? I was raised by my mom. So, see, the circumstances could be so different. We don't know. Any situation calls for sympathy. Any situation calls for empathy, sympathy. But we don't want to be, how you say, we don't want to be helpless. People have to learn how to cope, you know. People have to learn, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Coming from the environment we grew up, we were tough, you know. They made us tough. The circumstances, the environment, the regime, the deficit, the lack, the challenges, that these things made us tough. Do I want it for my kids? No, I don't. As a mom, I don't, you know, I don't want them to have the same circumstances, the same traumatic events. I don't want them to have these hardships. But, you know, I want them to be motivated. I don't want them to be losers or slackers, you know. I don't want them to be privileged, spoiled brats that they think that they live in the richest country in the world and they get it by anyways, you know. I want my kids to work their butts off, you know. I want my kids at least to be at the level I am now, you know. But deep in my heart, like 10 times better than I am. I want them to be. Вот как красиво на закате я вам показала. Видите, вот что называется golden hour, golden hour. Посмотрите, посмотрите, какой свет красивый. Никаких фильтров не надо. Вот это свет от солнца на закате. Вот поэтому я люблю закат. Очень люблю закат, девочки. Interesting observation. Let me read, Lenочка. The most funny thing that education kids of people I know need or want the help from their parents. But my kids never asked for help and never had it. Interesting observation. Interesting observation. In this case, I think you gave them the character skills to be independent and to be proud, you know, not to ask for help. So they want to be, they don't want us for help just because they can prove a point that they're independent and free adults. And I think if they don't ask you for help, it also means that you cannot dictate how they can use your help, you know? You cannot control them. Because I kind of think that the help should come with a form of control. I don't, you know, like, if you're just gonna help your kids and they're gonna milk you and milk you and milk you and milk you until you're like old and you don't have money anymore, and then they say, okay, we're gonna milk something else, you know, you're gonna be left alone and broke. But if you control what they do with the money, if they do investments, if they put into a stock that all of a sudden made them well off, or if they buy a property that goes in price, if you give the investment money, if you help them to put this money to work towards them and have some sort of control of this help, you know, I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that. You know, we have a friend, it's a good story. We have a friend and she gave her son, like starting at 14 or 15, she started to give him big money, $400, $300 every birthday. And she started to tell him that he can invest his money and try to make more money out of them. So the boy started to be interested in the stock market. And over the years, out of this like $300 or $400 or $500, over the years, he made thousands, you know. And that's just because she trusted him. She helped him with a little bit of starting capital and investment. She provided for him, like, for his, you know, food and school and everything. And she told him, like, this is your money. Try, see how you feel, learn the subject. And this boy is doing great. He is a student now, and he lives independently, but he has his own capital already, playing on stocks. You know, I don't suggest everybody play on stocks, but this is one of the successful story. Sorry to interrupt. What are we talking about? Joseph Randolph, welcome. Welcome. We are talking about privileged Americans that don't realize that they have a privileged life, and they don't realize how the rest of the world lives. And privileged Americans They get annoyed with every little inconvenience. They get offended with every little stupid thing, and they take things for granted. Thank you for responding. Eclipse the Fennec. That's a cool topic. Yes. So I don't know how many people are watching me. I know my 2 viewers are here from California and New Jersey, and those are my viewers I know, and kind of like my virtual friends. And I know they're both immigrants, so they can chime in about their experiences. I'm an immigrant. I've been living in this country for about 17 years, so I know both worlds. I know misery and I know the privileged life in the States. And what I'm trying to say here, that the privileged life is coming with sacrifices. The privileged life here doesn't come just because. The privileged life comes with a lot of sacrifices. You work hard and you live good. There is no other formula. You can't be dependent. You can't be dependent on government. You cannot be dependent on the taxpayers. You cannot be dependent on the system. You cannot abuse and milk the social system. So we ran away from socialism. We ran away from communism, and our lives are extremely better than lost of the countries. But when you know nothing else, you live with what you or experiences make the person. And also we're talking that education guarantee nothing. Yeah, Maska, yes. Education is a good start. Education is a good investment. It's a good start. Education helps you build connections. Like if you go into Harvard, it's not necessarily guarantees you like a privileged job right away, but it guarantees you connections. It guarantees you a network of people, a network of fellows, you know, who went to the same school. It gives you some sort of status, and this status matters too, you know. So, and education doesn't guarantee you anything. Compare Stanford to University of Central Florida, you know. Of course, Stanford people have more opportunities just because they put Stanford on their resume, you know. But at the end of the day is the effort and the sacrifices a person is willing to make to build the career. It's the sacrifices. Some people sacrifice their family time. Some people sacrifice their, you know, I don't know, their maybe material things. They live very modestly for the idea of progress, for the idea of investing money in some big, you know, startups, in something they believe in. So it all depends on each person. I'm trying to tell people that where I came from, you know, we worked hard just to survive. And our parents instilled in us the idea of hard work, not relying on anybody, just relying on yourself, your capabilities, your skills. Networking is a really good tool. Nepotism can get you a long way. Yes, and I agree with that. Somebody say it's like wrong, but I like nepotism. Nothing wrong with nepotism. You know, if, like, okay, nepotism is one thing. If it gets you a good place, but you're just sitting there and people at some point realize that you are not worth of this place, you know, or you can't really do the job, at some point they're gonna kick you out, you know. You're not gonna be protected for the duration of your employment or whatever. But I think nepotism helps at some point just because people took time to build these connections. Like, for example, you go to Harvard. I don't know if everybody gets scholarships. Some people probably pay, you know, and end up with the debt. So you take responsibility to pay $200,000 in debt being in Harvard. So the nepotism helps you to land a better job, not starting at $50,000 a year. Nepotism helps you to land a job starting at $150,000 per year, so you have a better chance to be responsible and pay off your debt, you know? It makes perfect sense to me. You know, it makes perfect sense to me. Like everybody, I told it to people in my previous streams about medical system. Everybody say it's corrupted and insurance is corrupted. I agree, like a lot of things are corrupted. But let me tell you what, why the doctor should charge you $1,000 if the doctor has a debt for his school $500,000. So how much the doctor should make to save your freaking life and pay his debt for his school and for being responsible? Do you want the doctor to charge you $1? No, you don't. You want the doctor to charge you that insurance pays him. You want the doctor to charge you enough money that he can comfortably pay his loan and make a good living just because he sacrificed. The doctor went to school for 10 years and learned how to save lives. So when people tell me that the medical system is corrupted, guess what? I'd rather be broke but alive in this system. Back where I'm from, my mom passed away at 59 just because he had a freaking heart attack that couldn't be cured and that couldn't be under control by a good cardiologist, because the doctors went to school and paid bribes to get their diplomas. That's how corrupted the medical system was in my country. And that's why my mom is in the grave at 59. I have a better chance of survival and beating the odds. My dad is in 83 now, you know, so I have a better chance to live to 83. And I pray this medical system stays like that. And I pray that I be broke, but they save my freaking life. They cure my cancer. Oh, sorry. I probably got like little heated away with this discussion. Sorry, I didn't mean to be aggressive. I don't know, this topic always triggers me. Thank you for a good comment, Joseph Randolph. Where are you from? Please tell us which state you're from. Please tell us where you're from. So I'm an immigrant. I had it hard way, you know. I've been waiting for 2 freaking years to get the paperwork done. I don't take my citizenship for granted. I worked hard. I was on a student visa. I got up with a 4-month-old. I got up at night 4 times to feed my 4-month-old. Then I left it with my mother-in-law. And at 6:30, I was at school working part-time, going to the library studying because I was on a student visa and I wanted to do things right before I got my immigration figured out. And I worked hard with a 4-month-old, working hard all day. And nobody paid my debts. I paid for my school. I paid $4,000 a semester. Nobody paid my debts. Nobody gave me money to survive in this country. I'm from California. Top of my responsibilities. Yay, Joseph, you're from California. Welcome. Okay, let's read. My career is full of nepotism and there is plenty of slackers. I myself got in because I don't want to bring in race, but I've learned that I can't slack in any situation, so I try to always stay on. Oh, I hear you, Joseph. I hear where you're coming from. Thank you for this comment. I hear where you're coming from. Unfortunately, it always depends on the state you live in. That's why we didn't want DeSantis to be the president. We wanted to keep DeSantis in our own state of Florida. So we don't want DeSantis to be the president. It's okay. We'll keep him here. So if you ever decide to move to Florida for $1 million, you can live the best life on the lake with a 5,000 square feet home here in Florida, not the like little tiny shack in San Francisco. 14,000 square feet. So it's always, America is so big, it's always opportunities to move. I have some friends that considering moving to Texas from California. Your conversation is nice. I'll give you a subscription. Thank you, Joseph. Maybe you need a little background. I'm Kate, and I only started my channel just because I got a lot of subscribers who subscribed from my daughter's gymnastics video. My daughter's short gained a lot of views and people started to subscribe. So I decided, okay, I'll start expressing myself. I'm 47, and finally I started to feel myself comfortable as I am, not being, you know, like not being wrapped up in my complexes, not being wrapped up in my childhood trauma and stuff like that. So finally I started to like myself and be nice to myself. So I thought through the channel, it's my therapy to share with the world my views and my thoughts and my experiences. Because for so many years I was absorbed in like very little self-worth for some reason. Don't make me cry. So I finally realized I have a lot self-worth now by 47, and this is the time to feel powerful, and this is the time to love myself, to be nice to myself, and to express my thoughts and feelings freely without being afraid to be judged. And even if I will be judged or hated, this is a great therapy and mechanism to learn how to cope with all these crazy feelings and be pretty much a doctor to myself, not relying on, you know, others to fix me. Yeah, giving you some isn't any better, even though polar opposite on the political spectrum. Yeah, you know, a lot of people flee California, and it's personal choice. You know, we don't know how every little family, every little household has it. We don't know people's struggles. You know, I speak in general, and I get carried away with Republican agenda, you know, because I'm Republican, you know. So, but you know, I'm not an extreme person. I know there is like, up until maybe 40 I was black and white, you know, but now I know it's always, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like, you don't get extreme in anything, you know. You always find to try a perfect gold balance. You always try to find something that works for you, and it's not illegal and doesn't offend that much your loved ones, you know. So if you're not, like what I thought to myself, okay, you go on YouTube and you can speak freely, right? But you have a control what you want to tell. You have a control how much you want to tell, because if you tell the truth all the time, you become very vulnerable. You become very vulnerable to hate and to judgment. But at some point, if you're mature enough, you don't care about the judgment, because you keep doing what you're doing every day. You know, you get up, you go to work, you put your retirement money, you're responsible for you, you're responsible for your health, you're responsible for your kids, you're responsible for your freaking finances, you know. And you keep doing what you're doing. If you get punished for a bad behavior or for a good behavior, yes, you get punished for a good behavior. You get punished by taxes. You get punished by you know, like, they raise price for you. They know you make a certain amount of money. They charge you more. They would charge other people, and that's okay. That's okay. So I pay my fair share, you know. So I guess like you said, from your upbringing, you were taught to be self-efficient. Yes, exactly. And I'm afraid that my kids are first-generation born Americans, and I'm afraid they get too corrupted. They get too spoiled with the privileges. They get things a little easier, you know. And it's not only because we provide for them. It's because the world is full of technology. The world has a lot of progress that they tell people now, oh, AI, we don't need people anymore. It's going to be AI everything. You know, you don't want to trust stupid robots, you know. You don't want to rely on AI that much, you know. At the end of the day, you don't know how far AI can go. You know, when you're on the operating table, you don't want to trust an AI. You want to trust the real doctor who spent his fair share studying 10 years and who has resource to go and check what he's doing, you know. So I want to teach my kids that they need to be self-sufficient, they need to be smart, they need to be energetic, they need to have the drive, because, you know, I'm self-motivated every day. There is nobody standing, you know, there is no my mom standing with the, you know, like with the wet rag trying to slap me, you know. There is no my mom there standing over me. Kids pick up a lot from their peers. Unfortunately, that's why I agree. They pick up a lot from their peers. But here comes the thought. You try to provide the environment of the peers that you agree will work well for your kids. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Watching the company is always a good practice. Yes, we do. We do. Yeah, we do. We do. I have 2 girls, and my old kid is turning 15 in May. She wants to have a permit to drive, but she cannot drive alone, so she's going to drive with my dad. My dad helps us around the house, so I live with my husband, my 2 kids, and my father. My father lives with us in the same house, so he helps a lot with my kids' logistics, with driving, with some household help and stuff like that. So I'm very fortunate, and I'm very grateful, and I can't stop bragging about my father being a vital part of our everyday, you know, success. So I do. So thank you, Joseph. So my daughter is going to be driving at some point, and I'm a very anxious mom, but I have a trust, you know, in her, because so far she proved to be trustworthy, you know. So far she proved that, you know, we can rely on her. She has very good discipline. She has very good character. She doesn't talk back. She does good at school. She's self-disciplined. She goes to bed at a certain time. She's organized. I'm less judgmental. Yeah, I guess it depends on the character. Yeah, it depends on the character, Lenочка. Even though I might skewed bias on undocumented people, immigrants are a very important part of America. I agree. They're a very important part of America, because somebody needs to clean the hotels. Somebody needs to work outside on your lawns. Somebody needs to collect strawberries and raspberries in California we buy in Costco, you know. And Americans with the education, they don't want to do that. So illegal immigrants is a vital part of the United States. It is a vital part, and they work hard just to be in this country and support their families. But we should find a better way to accommodate their legality, you know, and we should provide a better, yeah, I know we don't have resources, because, you know, immigrant officers don't make, you know, like enough, and that's not enough resources to check every immigrant and, you know, decide if, you know, he can get the paperwork. So it's a very complicated issue. I agree. That's why they need to make work visas more accessible. I agree, because at some point, you know, it's very tricky. I agree, because they're a vital part, because, you know, after the COVID, you go somewhere and they say, we don't have employees, because all employees decided to get, you know, money from the government and not to come back, because they have enough money from the government after COVID. So who helped? Like, yeah, of course, these people who didn't get the government paycheck, the illegal immigrants, they would get up and they go and work everywhere the Americans didn't want to work. So I agree, we need to work a little better on our immigration reforms. Yes, yes. the wall is too extreme. I know, but you know, something needs to be done. These people went to Harvard, for God's sake. They need to know social, like how to get necessary tools to accommodate immigration, better immigration laws. That's why they need to make work visas. Yeah, I agree. So thank you for being with me. It's been 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm sorry I got a little bit heated in some in some discussions and some of my thoughts. I just needed, and even though I'm heated, I'm not aggressive, you know. I think I'm just getting my frustration out. And I know that even if you feel my frustration on the other side of the screen, I know at the end of the day it's not gonna affect your life, or it's not gonna traumatize you. You can just scroll to a different live stream and never come back to my channel. It's totally fine. But for me, being honest with my feelings on this channel during the live stream, for me, it's great opportunity to be myself, because you know, being at work sometimes needs a little more diplomacy. Being with my, you know, colleagues, being in the university environment I work for, I try to be more reserved, let's put it mildly. But on my channel, I can truly be myself, and you know, express my frustration, express my real concerns, and express my feelings freely without, you know, without without any fear of consequences or stuff like that. Anyways, well, let's not go to places to be too radical in our points of view. Let's just respect everybody's, you know, opinions and feelings. It's just not many people are. I think it's a big courage to be on YouTube. I think it took me a few years to have this courage to go and be myself. So when people write comments, I really appreciate them coming out of their shells and, you know, write comments. And if people are willing to share where they're from, or share their, like Joseph, I really appreciate you sticking around for this live stream and subscribing. I'm planning to discuss more topics about social life, about you know, events in our society that, you know, bother me, about raising kids and how to balance you know, between being a good parent and keeping your own sanity. I have to go into work, but very nice having you point of view. Thank you. Oh wow, Joseph Randolph, you sent me a donation. Wow, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good weekend and good luck at work. Everything gonna settle down like the dust, and you'll be on top of the world. Bye bye. Have a good night. Lenочка, Lena from California, Lenочka and Boris from New Jersey. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching sunset. It's getting dark. My beautiful lake. I want to tell you that I had a pleasure to talk to you. Sorry if I had a little heated discussion sometime. Thank you for being and watching my live stream and supporting my channel. And you don't have to agree with me, just be there with me. I really appreciate you taking time and spend it on my channel. And you know, you're free to write comments, and we agree to disagree, you know. And I just want us to be mature and wise, and not to be afraid to express our feelings. And let's make my channel let's make my channel like a уютный, like a comfortable place to hang out virtually. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend. I hope to see you again soon. Love you all. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.